Let's go right to the phone lines, and we appreciate him holding on after a busy day. The head football coach at Tennessee, Josh Heupel. Josh, we appreciate you joining the show.
Hey, absolutely. The day's not over. We're going to get busy here on the back end of the night, too, but great to be on with both of you.
Well, thank you, man. All right, just general observations about the scrimmage today. Second scrimmage of the preseason. Where are you guys right now in camp, Josh? Where are you compared to where you'd hope to be?
Yeah, Coach, you're never where you're at. We got 4 weeks before we open up the season. I thought we were a lot cleaner today than we were in our first scrimmage. Both sides of the line of scrimmage, in particular defensively, fits and communication, high discipline on our keys and allowing that to take us to the plays. There were a ton of positives from today.
Josh, it's Austin. When you look at this from a head coach's perspective, and you're kind of weighing things, offense obviously gets a lot of the hoopla because of all the points and the pace of play, but to have the defense stand up today, have a better day, how good was that to see? Just because I know you're trying to grow that side of the ball from very little depth last year to a lot more depth this year.
Yeah, for us to be the team we want to be, we got to play great in all three phases of the game. We got to play. For us, defensively, another year in our system, so a better understanding of what we're doing. The little things add up to the big things that everybody sees. We feel like we've made a ton of strides there. A year ago, we were thin as an entire football team. We didn't talk about it much last year, but in particular on the defensive side of the ball. I do feel like we've added depth. We have guys that are competing at the level that we need them to. Not that we don't have to continue to grow up until kickoff, but we have competition. We will be able to play more guys than we did a year ago. All of that lends itself to us having the potential to be a much better defensive unit, and that's important to this football program. And we're going to play down defense here as I continue in our tenure here and as we develop this program. We got some old guys that have taken a bunch of strides. I really like some of the development of some of our secondary guys that have been here. We've also added some young guys that I still feel like coming out of this scrimmage have the potential, if they continue to grow here over the next 7 to 10 days, will be in a position to help us as we start the season.
Josh, it's Chris again. One of the narratives for a second-year coach, certainly a second-year coach who calls plays, is, well, there's tape on that coach now, how he likes to play, etc. But when you flip that, you guys now, when you're going against defenses, I'm second you go with your staff, second you go with Hendon Hooker, there's sort of the other side of that too. You guys can show things and probably do things and have more of a feel. They have more of a feel for what you guys want to do. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, we're different year. Everywhere that I've been, your personnel, excuse me, is the start of why you're different. And we lost good players. We've added some good players. We'll be slightly different than we were a year ago, and that's been the same everywhere that we've been together as a staff, so I think for us, we're going to be year two of our system too. Some of the things a year ago that we were coaching at this point, not that we're not coaching it, but it's not the majority of our time that we're spending coaching it, meaning that our players have grasped it in a completely different way than they had a year ago. So we have an opportunity to be way more efficient as we continue to build towards this season.
Coach, it's Austin again. When you look at the defensive side of the ball, Byron Young obviously stands out. You got Tyler Barron, Roman Harrison, guys that can get to the quarterback. You got two true freshmen, Josh Josephs and then, of course, James Pierce. What's realistic for those two kids this year, and how much growth have you seen in them considering they didn't get here until the summertime?
Yeah, those first three guys that you talked about are guys that have really grown, and that's in the weight room and the understanding of what we do. We see them being different players than they were when they finished the season a year ago. I'm really excited about those three. James and Josh are two young guys that that our staff feels really confident in. We've been really happy with a lot of what they've done. They're both really smart kids. They've grasped what we're doing defensively really well. They're able to adjust and communicate when they're out on the football field. They're both learning how to play that position at this level against the types of players that they're going to go against every single day. And, the bigger, faster, stronger, longer, all those things as they're trying to push the pocket. Both of them have made great strides throughout, the 12 days of training camp that we've had up until this point. I really feel like both of those guys will play meaningful moments for us as we go through the season. There's still a lot of time before kickoff. Those guys got to continue to grow, but they both have a great sense of urgency. Really excited about those two young guys.
Josh, you guys were so far down in scholarship numbers last year. I know we talked about this last month when I was over there, but the competition now in the practice field, how much better is that? How much more intense is that, to be able to help you guys face what you're going to face week in and week in and out in the SEC?
Yeah, a coach's only friend at times, but certainly his greatest friend is competition inside of that position meeting room. And we're getting more of that inside of our program. It elevates what they're forced to do in the meetings, what they have to do and how they have to perform out on the practice field, the effort and strain that they got to compete with every single rep because they know that they're competing for snaps on game day. It makes us a better football program. It also allows us to play more guys. We want to play as many guys as we possibly can that we know and we trust that are going to go out and compete at the level that you have to be to be a Tennessee Vol that plays on Saturdays and to compete with a championship mindset and attitude and relentlessness every single snap. We're continuing to develop that. It changes the way we're able to rotate. It changes some of the calls that we're able to make as well. So we're excited about, where we're at, but some young guys in our program that are continuing to get themselves prepared for game days and be ready to show that they're going to play at that level.
2 scrimmages in. When do you start to transition from camp mode to game mode? And what will you look for in the next week or so from certain positions or certain players as they try to just kind of lock down their spot or lock down a potential playing time for that opener?
Yeah, we got 4 or 5 of real work, great, good on good every single day, every rep. We'll transition, after that into some scout team work, but we'll still have a lot more crossover periods than we typically would during a normal game week, and try to get into a little bit of a practice routine or a game week type routine, the middle part of last week, and then obviously as we hit the following Thursday, we'll be in true game week mode.
Josh, how important is it to have a quarterback that has played as much football as Hendon and is experienced? And as you said again, we were together last month, that the guys in that locker room genuinely believe in and rally around to have him coming back, for another season.
It's so much different inside of our building because we have a guy that has experience in our system and has proven that he's going to play at a really high level. I love the progress that Hendon has made too. We understand what he can do. It allows us to be more focused and intentional with our installs. There's real purpose behind it. You know who that trigger guy is going to be. I think that's really important that you put him in the best position to be successful. It's been big for the leadership and communication inside of our building. You and I have talked about, his energy, his wanting to lead this football team in a really positive way. That's been true in the off season during the summer. It's certainly been true this training camp too. And so I don't think you can put a price tag on the energy and how that transcends throughout your entire locker room. I love what he's done in a leadership role. I love what a lot of our other guys have done too. So, but Hendon's certainly a big part of helping develop that and building that inside of our locker room.
I know last year you all trimmed down the wide receiver rotation coming out of that Florida game. Is your preference to have it be larger than what it was, though, at the back end of last year? If you can get enough guys on the same page, what's based off all your years as a coordinator, head coach, what's realistic for that rotation? 5, 6?
What position we're talking about? We want to play guys, and the more the merrier, as long as they're going to compete at a championship level. And that to me is standard inside of our room. The more guys that we have that are doing that, we got to find things that they can do and put them in a position to help us. And that's, offense, defense, and then special teams. certainly we want to be deeper than we were at the wide receiver position a year ago, and that's been important. Training camp's been really good. We've had some young guys, that are new to our program, maybe in January or this summer, that have really stepped up. We have some guys that have been around all of last year that have really made strides too, and I think that will show up at the wide receiver position, but that's also going to show up in special teams as well for us.
We're talking to Josh Heupel, Tennessee's head football coach. Josh, we'll get you out on this one. When you walk into Neyland Stadium here in a few weeks for that Thursday night game, how will you be different than this time a year ago? How will you feel compared to who you were? Not who you were, but as you came into this job a year ago.
Yeah, it's year two for me too, right? So I know
right.
what to expect. From getting off the bus and going through ball walk to running through the tee, to how we're going to communicate, operate on the sidelines, to who our players are too. There's such a difference through all the growth that we went through last year. All the different situations. Our players have a clear understanding of how we're going to operate, function, and respond to those things, and our coaching staff does too. So in year two, not that you're completely different in who you are and how you're or what you're focused on. It's just completely different because our staff really has all been here for an entire year together, and we're going on year two, young and old coaches alike. There's a greater understanding and a comfort in what we're going to be doing.
Well, Josh, man, we really appreciate it. We know it's been a busy day, and you're still got a few more hours to burn the midnight oil, as they say, but we appreciate you joining us tonight on The Nation and look forward to catching up with you down the road.
Hey, always great being with you guys on The Nation. Appreciate everything you guys do. Have a great day.
Okay. Coach Josh Heupel joining us, AP on The Nation.